Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. This is Authentically Loving You with Kayla Q. I'm your host, Kayla Corez, and in this podcast, I'm going to be talking about lessons, words of wisdom, and growth that I've obtained throughout my journey of learning to love myself. Now, there was a time where I allowed the thoughts, the beliefs of others to determine my worth. I felt that I was too sensitive, that being sensitive and emotional was a negative thing. Throughout time, I've learned how to be mean to myself. I would call myself names. And it came to a point where I felt like I was deserving of pain. And so I became my biggest bully. And not just mentally, not just emotionally, but physically. One of the lowest points in my life, I was 17 in my high school bathroom, weeks after someone leaving me. And with a razor in my hand, I was telling myself, well, you have to do it. I mean, you deserve it. That's why everyone keeps leaving you. And I cut myself. And so at that time, that was very normal for me. It was a routine for me. So I put my shirt down. I went back to my class. And then I passed out. And soon after, my body woke up. I didn't know what was happening. Um, all I could hear was my teacher trying to call my name. Can you hear me? And all I could speak was, um, mm. Then hear somebody call the office and tell them we need an ambulance and paramedic right now. What? What? What is going on? And eventually my eyes open and everything was so fuzzy. I felt like I knew where I was, but everything was blurry. It was fuzzy. And my teacher comes to me and asks, do you know what happened? in the back of my mind, I knew what caused it, but I didn't know what happened. And she told me that I had a seizure. I thought, yo, what? I've never had a seizure in my life. What do you? I've never had a seizure in my life. What are you talking about? Um, I was speechless. I was coming out of this daze. I could barely comprehend what she's saying. And so she told me to look down, and I peed myself. She told me that a bit after I came back from the bathroom, I was slumped over my chair and I was moaning and groaning. And then the bell rang. The bell rang. Students were leaving the classroom, going to their friends, going out to lunch. It's lunchtime. And as people are leaving, the paramedics are coming in. Now, throughout the time of them taking my vitals, placing me on a gurney, wheeling me out, all I could think of was everyone's going to tell their friends, like, oh, that's the girl that had a seizure. That's the girl that shat and peed herself. That's the girl that was moaning and groaning. And it wasn't until years later, I was scrolling on Instagram and I come across this video of Gary V, Gary Vaynerchuk. And that video showed me that you are not born hating yourself. You don't come out the womb like, damn, I I hate myself. I don't like this about myself. I'm annoying. I'm a bother. You don't come out the womb like that. It is taught. It is either from one person repetitively projecting their beliefs and thoughts to you, or it's multiple people projecting that onto you. And that video made me realize you're right. I didn't always hate myself. I do remember I used I used to be happy. I used to like myself. I remember being happier. And I thought about that person that came to mind of instilling those thoughts and beliefs in me. And it just made me think I do want to learn how to love myself. How do I do that? And I literally typed on Google, how what are the steps to love myself? And one of the first things, which I can't wait to get into, is self talk, the way that you talk to yourself. And we'll definitely hop into that. But that, in those years following that, I've learned to find my voice, to find out what makes Kayla happy. And I am more than blessed that I now have a platform where I can share my experience. I can impact women of all ages. That if you struggle with your self worth, first of all, you are not alone. It truly, it feels like it when you're deep into it. It feels like you're alone, but I promise you, you are not alone. And what I've learned over the years is you are not deserving of pain. It's one of the biggest things that I've learned is you are not deserving of pain. So that is one of my biggest missions is those that struggle with their self-worth, that feel like their voice doesn't matter. You are more. You are more than worthy of love from yourself first, which will then pour onto others. Your voice matters. Your voice matters. You are more than capable of opening up your heart and living your life confidently and unapologetically. This is Authentically Loving You with Kayla Q. If you enjoyed what you heard, please leave a review, subscribe, and I will see you next time.